I may be in New York, but the critics have assembled, of course, for a great slate of movies, including Jordan Peele, who has a new horror film for us, to get the dirt on this group called motlecrue, and this movie is crazy. But most of all, the Russian Five take over Hockey Town.
I get to Helsinki, I notice a guy, I'm convinced he was their KGB guy.
Literally, we're making it up as we went along. I said, Sergey, this money's yours if you leave now.
It was interesting for me. It was like a little bit exciting.
It's the story behind the men that brought Lord Stanley's Cup to Hockey Town. But will the new documentary, The Russian Five, get a CriticLee hat trick?
I basically said, yes.
Oh my God, those are my pants.
But they look so much better on me.
The band motlecrue gets the movie treatment, and there's a good reason why this film went straight to streaming. It's The Dirt.
There's a family in our driveway.
It's probably the neighbors.
Oh, it's not the neighbors, and they're not coming to borrow more sugar. The truth about the movie is up to us.
Be careful.
Critically speaking, now. Be careful. Isn't that scary? Welcome aboard, Critically Speaking, a show that is all about movies. I am your host, Lee Thomas. I gotta clear my throat now. Joining us this week, the usual suspects. Adam Graham reviews movies for the Detroit News. Tom Santilli, the national film critic for AXS.com. Gentlemen, welcome aboard. That movie, Us, is a trip, right?
We're gonna do the whole review in this voice.
Oh, sure, like that. Please don't. I mean, I don't. No, let's not.
Two Adams.
But you guys know how you know how we start the show every week. It is all about the business of filmmaking or upcoming movies that have caught our attention. We simply call it our movie buzz. All right, let's talk about what's up this week in the movie buzz. Once Upon a Time in Hollywood is the film. Quentin Tarantino it's his 9th movie. It stars Leonardo DiCaprio and Brad Pitt. Leonardo DiCaprio plays a Hollywood star. Brad Pitt plays his stuntman. The character of Bruce Lee is actually in this movie as well. This movie looks like a trip. It won't be out in theaters until July. I personally cannot wait. But that's not all we're buzzing about. Also buzzing this morning, The Dirt is this film that is produced by Netflix. We'll talk about that later. But Netflix just released a new subscription plan in the country of India only, where it's a half-price subscription for mobile. You can watch all you want on your phone for half price. Now, to the critics I go on this one, I really think them testing this in India, and they're testing other things in other markets, I think this could be another game changer for Netflix, gentlemen, because what if they had subscribers have a special plan where you could go to the movies to see a Netflix film and get half price at the theater? I think Netflix is changing the game again. I think they're testing a bunch of things in different markets, and we could see something special. This one makes me excited. Adam, what do you think about a half-price subscription plan for mobile if they brought it to the States? Would you be in?
Yeah, I think it's perfect. I think like Alfonso Cuarón meant for Roma to be seen on this screen. I think that was the best thing. No, but look, if you can if you can cast it to your TV, then maybe it's no difference, and if you're savvy enough digitally in order to hack your way out, you can save half your money every month. Yes, right? I think that Netflix can do whatever they want in terms of like price plans. They can play with different things, and they can figure out the model going forward. Right now, it's totally everything's working for them. Who's to say it can't get better?
Yeah, I really think they need, if they're going to bring that to the States, they really have to address some movies were meant to be seen on the big screen, and they released Triple Frontier on the big screen first, and then a week later, it was on Netflix. This time, The Dirt, which there's a good reason why it's not in theaters, but this time they released The Dirt, and it's straight to Netflix. So let's talk to Tom on this one. I know you're a big screen guy. You think films are meant to be seen on the big screen. Does this excite you at all?
No, it doesn't. If this plan was free, I would never personally watch a movie on my phone. I've never have watched a movie on my phone. Like Adam said, if the whole point of it is to cast it to your television, then like I guess if you can figure out the hack to get a better price, then that's great for you. But I don't really like the model of this. Now, the other idea that you mentioned, Lee, about maybe you're part of Netflix and you get like a discount on a Netflix movie at the theater. Now, I think that's kind of a cool concept. They could also kind of take what maybe worked with MoviePass, but maybe didn't really. Leave the parts that didn't work and take the parts that did work. Look, Netflix is going to be doing anything it can to defeat Disney Plus and their streaming service. We're kind of going head on head here with these two huge companies, and they're going to do anything they can to get the edge.
Hack the system.
And I hope when big companies do that, I hope it makes it better for us, the consumer. And we can't even talk about MoviePass, gentlemen. I'm so disappointed with MoviePass. All right,
bring it up.
Let's head to the movies. Why don't we, right? As Motley Crue gives us The Dirt.
The fans, they're dying for some anarchy. So let's give it to them.
Yeah, we'll give it to you, all right. It's their infamous rise to fame and fortune, and there's a good reason why this movie is on Netflix. I'll explain why. I really enjoyed it, but I'll explain why coming up. Plus this.
You know how sometimes things line up? Like coincidences.
Jordan Peele has lined up another horror movie. We'll tell you if you should stand in line for us, critically speaking, next. Now, it's a Jordan Peele movie that's a follow-up to an Oscar-winning film for him called Get Out. It's in the horror genre, and he's getting big attention and big expectations, and I don't know if that's good for this movie, but who should we call?
Okay, let's call the cops.
I did. They're 14 minutes away.
What? 14 minutes? Okay. Jason, give me the bat.
What bat?
Okay. Did he just say give him a bat? Does anyone in this movie own a gun? Now, I will say the suspense in this film is palpable. The colors are rich and the actors are mesmerizing. And Jordan Peele knows how to make a good-looking, well-performed horror film. Us is stylish and suspenseful. Black Panther stars Winston Duke and Lupita Nyong'o are great, as well as the young cast members Shahidi Wright Joseph and Evan Alexander. Now, each of the cast members play dual roles in this film, and the transitions between character to character is seamless. But all of that style and theatrics is with a lack of story substance, especially at the end. When the doubles, why they are there is explained at the end of this movie. It is unsatisfying in my opinion. Also, the humor is there, but it's a bit too contrived and campy. I laughed when I wasn't sure if I was supposed to be laughing. The situation is too far-fetched, and it meanders for me about 15 minutes right there toward the end of the middle. It's a little too long. Now, if you're a horror fan, I have to tell you, I think you're going to love this movie. You'll forgive all that stuff that I can't go by. I can't forget. I can't just give him a forgiving on that one because he's a great writer. He won an Oscar for writing. I can't forgive that. But for me, I have to give this movie a mild thumbs down. A mild thumbs down. I know it's surprising, but I went in with big expectations. I have to give it a mild thumbs down, but that's just me. Let's go to the critics on this one. Adam, you're up first. Is Us for you?
Yes, I gave this movie a thumbs up, and I acknowledge a lot of the things that you're saying. And what I will say is that you're along for this ride in this movie, and I think the ride is totally extraordinary. I think that the end of the ride, you're kind of like, oh, wait, and some of the things don't really come together. But I do think it's got especially great performance by Lupita Nyong'o. I've never seen her be better.
Yeah, she's
I think this
great.
is if she wasn't a superstar before, I think she's a real star now. What a performance. And I think that that he kind of carries you along through all these scenes. I think that he's great at building suspense. He's great at kind of building mounting dread. But I think that he took off way too much than he can chew in this movie. And there's just like 4 or 5 huge plot points that are way extraneous to the main story. By the time we get to the end and we're in the underground tunnels, I'm just like, wait, what's going on? And I want to be along for the ride. I do think the ride's a lot of fun, but at the end I was a little bit underwhelmed. That said, I give this movie a thumbs up.
I have to ask you a question. It's a thumbs up, but on a percentage, I give it like a 69%, a 70%, like a C.
Yeah.
What would you give this movie?
I gave this movie a B. It's a solid B.
A B. So that's like 75, 80% you liked it.
82. I go 82 to 84%.
Nice. Let's go to Tom on this one. Tom, is Us thumbs up from you?
I'm more with you, Lee. This is a mild thumbs down for me. If I had to give it a grade, which I did in my review, I gave it a C, like a C+. Here's the thing.
There you go.
I think that there is a disconnect between, you can still like Jordan Peele. Everybody loves Jordan Peele. Everybody's rooting for Jordan Peele. Everybody loved Get Out and was surprised by it. But just because we all love Jordan Peele doesn't mean that we have to give like his movie credit when it doesn't all work. Within itself, he's kind of becoming like the modern-day master of horror after just one outing, and now he's going to be hosting the Twilight Zone and stuff like that. So like you said, Lee, there are huge expectations going into this thing, but I felt like there were isolated scenes here that were really good. There are some good scares. There are some nice thrills, some good things, but the movie itself just does not come together in any real way. You want people leaving a theater talking about a movie. Everybody loved talking about Get Out when it was over, but this was a different kind of a discussion when you leave Us. Everybody was kind of like comparing notes and saying, hey, what the heck was that? And that didn't make sense, and that didn't make sense. And there's no satisfying conclusion. So I was just disappointed.
You are correct.
And I think that a lot of people in the theater will be too.
I think there's essays to be written about this film. I think we're on a first pass on it. I do think that there's a lot there, and maybe it just didn't come together, but there is more to it than I think you may think.
I think people are giving this movie a little bit more credit just because of their love for Jordan Peele.
There you go. I think Tom's right and Adam's wrong. I think we have to move on now, men.
Record that.
All right, let's move on to the next film. We got to get to this one pretty quickly. It's simply called The Dirt.
We got a runaway, a kid drummer, an old man.
Let's just play it.
A cover band singer.
They say you're gonna be a rock star.
What do you think?
All right, now this is a Motley Crue movie that was released on Netflix first, and this movie is on Netflix because it would not have gotten an R rating. It would not have even gotten an NC-17 rating. Now, this movie is all about how Motley Crue comes together, and it starts off with Nikki Sixx, but it really goes into all 4 of the band members. Now, Douglas Booth plays Nikki Sixx. He's kind of the main character. His name is Iwan Rohn, Daniel Weber, and Machine Gun Kelly is the guy's name, Colston Baker, that play all 4 band members. These guys are great in this film. They're audacious. They do some things that I've never seen done in a movie that has been in theaters before. But this is audacious. It's raunchy. This movie reminds me of what I've heard in Hollywood about what rock bands really do. This thing is crazy, insane, not for kids, but I loved it. I give it a thumbs up. To the critics we go on this one. Tom, you're up first. Are you down with The Dirt?
Oh, I really, really dug The Dirt, man. I was a big fan of this movie. This is a rockin' good time, and I'm not a huge Motley Crue fan, but I felt like this movie really worked on kind of showing this band of misfits that never played by the rules, and this movie doesn't play by any rules. It kind of does its own thing, and it's really refreshing. I couldn't keep my eyes off the screen. I think the cast was great. I just liked the vibe that I felt. This movie is actually deeply funny. There's a lot of, I was laughing out loud. Like you said, Lee, I was shocked at a lot of the stuff. Yes, this movie, it kind of idolizes and romantifies, the whole sex, drugs, and rock and roll thing. But we all kind of had that hidden, thing that we want to be a rock star. This is our chance to check out The Dirt. And just really well done. The guy who directed this was the guy who did Jackass and Bad Grandpa. So I don't know how he pulled this out, but good job to Tremaine.
All right,
I think
we got 1 minute left. Adam, I have to hop over to Adam on this one. We got 1 minute left. Adam, how are you on The Dirt?
Yeah, I'm up on The Dirt. Jeff Tremaine is the director. He did Jackass. So doing Jackass, he kind of knows about how to make bad boys doing idiotic things form a familiar unit, right? So he's a good guy to direct this story. I think it's a little thin on this, in terms of like psychological aspects, what these guys were up to, why they did what they did, but it has to kind of get all these rock star bad boy antics out there. The Dirt was a notorious read, and it does a good job in getting those stories onto the screen.
Yeah.
And I really liked Machine Gun Kelly as Tommy Lee. I think that he really captured his kind of like, whoa, you know, Southern California bro dude energy. So thumbs up on The Dirt, although I don't think it dug very deep into the mental of the Motley Crue dudes.
Yeah, but they got into the rock and roll star aspect of
Absolutely.
it. Dude, I've got to eat at that restaurant and just sit at that table with those, I'd love to sit at that table with those guys.
Hey now.
You guys know what I'm saying. All right. Let's move on. Another film opening this weekend is called Transit.
Déjà vu commencer.
Ils sont en train de ratisser tout le quartier, immeuble par immeuble. Vos papiers et le titre de séjour.
And this is obviously a foreign film. In an attempt to flee a Nazi-occupied France, the main character assumes the identity of a dead author. He finds himself in love and stuck in place. Transit is playing this weekend as well. It's a good foreign film if you want to go and check that one out. Before we go, another film you must see if you are a sports fan in Detroit. On the other side, our movie watch is The Russian Five. Next.
I love you. It's your mother.
Now to the movie watch. How many times did I look at my watch during your movie? And the answer for this one is 0. I could not stop watching The Russian Five.
Knew that there were good players in
This movie is just magical. It takes place in the late 80s, obviously. It's all about our Detroit Red Wings and how we not only got 5 Russian players together, it's about defection from their country, the Soviet Union, coming over to America to play. And it just is compelling. It reminded me a lot of some of the best sports stories that are told about our city. This film was just done so well. I give it a thumbs up. I didn't look at my watch at all. If you're a sports fan in Detroit, you have to watch this movie, and I'm saving time for the other guys to talk because, Adam, you're up first on this one, and this movie just had me from the start. I had no idea that they had to get Sergei Fedorov like that.
Yeah, I didn't know that either. I'm also thumbs up on this movie. I didn't really look at my watch at all. I think the best thing you can say about this movie in terms of being a Detroit sports fan is it's a very worthy compliment to the Bad Boys 30 for 30 documentary, which everybody knows any single time that it's ever on TV, you kind of have to watch the whole thing. If this were to be in any sort of rotation on any sports channel, you would totally watch it. It's a kind of, it's one of those classic sports stories that's like so good you can't believe it.
Nice. Let's go straight over to Tom. I know you're a big hockey guy. You had to love this one.
Oh yeah, absolutely. I love this movie. I think anybody from Detroit will love this movie. I wish that it would have dove a little bit deeper into that kind of KGB, kind of Russian stuff. It kind of alludes to at the beginning. It kind of gets off course from the Russians too for a minute and kind of just tells the story of the Detroit Red Wings during that dynasty period. But I think that's okay because this story kind of, their stories are intertwined, and I really think that I like that it also gave the bigger picture on how they not only affected Detroit, but how they affected hockey as a whole in North America.
Yes.
Yes. And Darren McCarty, the punch, that dude. You even love him more after you watch this one.
I get just as excited now watching that scene as I did when it first happened, man. It's unbelievable.
You know? All right, gentlemen, that's 3 thumbs up on. You have to watch that one. It's called The Russian Five. Now to another movie out this weekend. It's called Gloriabell.
Happy birthday, sweetheart. That's my ex-husband.
No. Wasn't an easy situation.
Really?
Julianne Moore is a 50-something single woman trying to find love and happiness in this new film. It's a slice of life kind of walking through the ins and outs of a relationship at that age. She is beautiful in this movie, and you see a lot more of her than I expected, but this one is a mild thumbs up from me. I enjoyed the ride. Adam, you saw this one too. How are you on Gloriabell?
Up on this movie, and spoiler alert, it's gonna be my queen in the box office.
Nice. All right, man. I got respect on that one as well. When we come back, my king of the box office is a familiar face. If you watched last week, I'll tell you why I love Dev Patel again. Critically
Welcome to the time.
Now to our king of the box office, the person, place, or thing we think you should pay attention to this weekend in movie theaters. And for me, it's Dev Patel. Yes, I said his name last week because he was in a great movie called The Wedding Guest. He is also in a movie next weekend called Hotel Mumbai. He's doing some great work, and for that reason, the first time ever, a two-timer, back-to-back, Dev Patel, you are my king of the box office. Let's go over to Tom Santilli. Tom, who's your king of the box office?
Mine's an ensemble this week. It's all four of the leads in The Dirt, the Motley Crue guys, Daniel Weber, Douglas Booth, Machine Gun Kelly, and Ivan Rian. I thought that these guys all did very well in kind of bringing this band to life in different ways.
Nice.
The guy who plays Ivan Rian, by the way, is Ramsay from Game of Thrones, guys.
Yep. All right, let's go to Adam. Who's your king, Adam?
My queen of the box office is Julianne Moore in Gloria Bell.
Nice.
What a fantastic performance. I think this is going to be one of the performances that I'm talking about at the end of the year in terms of the year's best. Woo. It's just a quiet character study, and she really knocks it out. I haven't seen her be this good in years. Gloria Bell, Julianne Moore, queen of the box office.
I appreciate you both. Thank you very much for your time. And as always, as long as they keep making movies, we'll keep critically speaking about those films. Next week, I'm not calling names, but it's all about Dumbo. We will see you in the theater. Have a good weekend.